Hello, everyone. I am back. Um, yes, like I told you guys last week, I took last week off because it was just so much going on. I just didn't have the strength to be gathering people together. Um, simply Savon. I'm actually going live with Craig tonight on my YouTube channel at 9 o'clock to talk about that. She asked how did I feel about Billy Porter's statements and what he made. So I will be on live tonight on my YouTube channel at 9 o'clock to have that discussion about Billy Porter and his decree, I guess, as you would say. But how are you guys doing today? Like I said, last week was just a lot going on, so I didn't really just have the strength mentally to get people together and bring people on and all that kind of stuff. So, but I am back, and this week we are doing all fashion people because I heard a lot from my fashion followers that I haven't done enough fashion people. So I said, okay, you know what? It is. So luckily I do have friends that are in fashion. And today we are talking to somebody I know from Atlanta that moved to LA that is now doing amazing things. And we get to hear from him and how he got to where he got to, what he's working on next, and where he's going to. And he's in the room now. So let me pop him right on in. It's coming up. There we go. Connecting. Hey,
Derek, what's up, bro?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Man, I'm blessed. How are you?
I am well. Long time no see. We
I
got to keep up with each
know.
other on Instagram.
Listen, that got to stop because I'm sure you here often, and I'm definitely in Atlanta.
Are you in Atlanta right now?
No, I'm in LA right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm at home in LA, but I come to Atlanta all the time because we do a lot of stuff there. We shoot a lot of stuff there. So yeah.
Well, one, how are you doing amongst all of the madness that's going on? Let's start with COVID and then move your way in.
Well, COVID. I mean, okay, so with COVID, it definitely was a trying time for me because I'm so used to moving around. You know what I'm saying? I'm so used to, being able to travel or having to do this and work in different cities. But since that's happened, I've been at home. You know what I'm saying? Rooted at home. I've never spent this much time at home. So I had to get used to, just being still and, tackling my thoughts. And as a creative, you know what I'm saying? And as Pisces, I'm always in my head. So, I have my days where I'm like, all right, let's rally, let's do this, let's do some things that we, haven't done or aren't super comfortable with. And then I have my days where I just want to fight the air. And so fast forward to this whole movement, popping off, that's been a beautiful nightmare of a destruction because, the nightmare part of it is that we're dealing with real life things and, our people are real life losing their lives. And the beautiful part of it is that I feel like everyone is standing up seriously, and not letting up on the change and on the movement. So I'm extremely proud and happy about that.
Okay, so we just got to talking. I didn't even get to introduce you. so wait. So this is the icon who is a fashion stylist that, like I said, I met him in Atlanta, and then he's in LA now doing his thing, and creating your own lane that I really am proud of you for. Because I think that everybody has this vision of what a fashion stylist is, and from what I've seen, you work with clients that you didn't really realize need a fashion stylist, for one, and then two, you've been creating things for these clients that haven't been seen. So so when you said, hey, fuck it, I'm done with Atlanta, I'm moving to LA. Did you know that you'll be doing what you're doing now when you
Well, before I get into that, let me just say this. When you hit me up to be to talk to me about this, I realized that, you know, I just want to give you your props. You are a OG, Derek, and you have always remained true to yourself. You have always been just an extremely humble beacon of light, you know, to me and everyone that I know you. And I just wanted to, you know what I'm saying, express that to you and really apologize to you on behalf of the younger generation and the people who, you know what I'm saying, just coming up, because you deserve your flowers and you deserve your acknowledgement and you deserve all of the visibility and all of the eyes and all of the things that come to you, because you truly are a maven and you have been consistently yourself and for Black people and for creatives and for the LGBTQ community. Ever since I've known you, you never flaked, you never failed, and I just wanted to say that because it's so.
Okay, you about to bring me teary eyed. I want to say, but no, thank you, so I appreciate that.
It's the truth. I wanted to say that. So, well, for me, I went to Clark, Atlanta. Well, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, born and raised, so I'm originally from the South. And as far as I can remember, I've always been into all things visual and creative and editorial and artsy. And my grandmother was as well. And she's the one, I was raised with my grandma, so I'm a grandma boy. And, you know, luckily she allowed me to revel in that. She allowed me to like those things. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the church, so she never wore the same thing twice. So every week we was out looking for something for her to wear to church. You know what I'm saying? So I, you know, ended up being caught up in the rapture solely because of, you know, her love for God and her yearn to go to church, but also her yearn to like always have a one up on the women in church. So, yeah, at first it was like, you know, I'm going with my grandma because I can't stay at home and nobody there to watch me. It was like all right, I'm just doing this. And then it turned into an interest, like a real life interest. I started asking my grandma, like, yo, her favorite department store was this place called Cotton's. So I used to be like, Mom, Grandma, when we going to Cotton's? And so as I got older and she got older, she would start sending me to pick her stuff up, to pick her stuff out. So that's when I started learning about different fabrics and colors and different textures and all that kind of stuff. So I credit all of that to my grandma. She was like my first client. And I ain't even know. I knew that I liked it, but I didn't know that it was actually a career. I didn't know any of that. And so fast forward to college, I came to Atlanta, and I actually went undecided my first semester because I didn't know. You know, I was really kind of like, I didn't want to be judged. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want to be judged for like going after what I loved or what I liked. And then the first semester of my freshman year, my grandma passed away that December. And before she passed away, I went home to see her, and she was just telling me like, look, you know, do what you love. Like, you know, just pouring into me. And I decided at that moment to really take up fashion and to really take up, and to really make it a business for myself. And so I declared my major, and I just went from there. I started doing fashion shows. I think that's around the time we met. When I was doing the fashion shows at Clark, and, you know, I started figuring out who was who in Atlanta, and you were one of those people. So we ended up crossing paths, and once I started managing a boutique in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta, and I did that up until I moved to New York. And I lived in New York for 2 years, and I met some amazing people, which landed me in LA, and I've been here for almost 8 years now.
Oh, geez. I didn't know it's been that long.
Yep.
So you've been gone for 10 years.
Pretty much, yeah.
So so the one question I wanted to ask you is because you are a man of a certain stature. Like you're not a small guy.
Right.
So, and you don't fit the look of fashion, but yet you come up with like, I'm looking at you, I'm like, where the hell you get this from? Why I never seen it like this? What is all this other? So like, what gave you the confidence in yourself to be able to say, I can do this? Because you don't look like what men look like in fashion, especially black men in fashion.
Well, you know what? When I was in college, we went by a quote that said, "Find a way or make one."
Mm-hmm.
And that has always stuck with me, you know, throughout my matriculation in college, and then as I moved from city to city and landed here. But once I was able to learn the history of fashion and really dig my feet into like the stigma that comes with it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I became internally a rebel because I'm like, they're not gonna count me out because, you know what I'm saying, I don't necessarily look like how they, you know, how people look or how they perceive people to look that work in fashion. And then you had figures like Andre Leon Talley, who I'm extremely inspired by, who was also a bigger guy in fashion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I took, you know, I read his memoirs and read his books and the things and the words that he had to say when it came to, you know, acceptance and all that kind of stuff. And I put my own little spin to it. And I just literally closed my eyes and went for it. And I think it was, you know, the confidence in just the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And like me really studying and knowing the ins and outs of what it means to be in fashion and to actually make a mark and leave a message through style and through fashion, that people gave me a shot. You know what I'm saying? People gave me a chance to actually put clothes on them and to convey a message through their imagery. So yeah, that was my whole thing with it. Yeah, and I'm from the South. Like I just couldn't do it. I really felt like, and I really still feel like that I have to prove a point.
Now I'm listening to you, and so I didn't know that you really studied all this stuff. See, I thought it was just like, you know, because you have wardrobe stylists that just kind of like, I know you have wardrobe stylists that really are just personal shoppers.
Correct.
So you know, but they take on a wardrobe stylist title. But I didn't. So how important for you was it to have the knowledge behind the work?
Well, it's extremely important because it goes back to the messaging, you know, through a visual. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody, it's pretty subjective when it comes to clothing and what people think is cute or what people think is dope and all of that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? But what makes it art and what frames your work is the knowledge and the messaging behind what you're conveying. You know? So I've always felt, and I've always been more interested in things and in people who work in fashion when they actually have a story. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go and you get look 38 from Miu Miu Spring 2020 collection, it's like, okay, girl, like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? But if you mix it and matching and taking things from here and taking this personal piece from there, and you know what I'm saying, like taking your grandma's hat that you know, things like that is what really make fashion thick. And that's what I'm all about. I'm about the thickness of it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody, and that's why I feel like fast fashion is what it is now, because it's all surface. No one really cares about conveying a message. They just like, oh, that's cute. And everybody got it. And if I have it, then that means I'm something. So.
So this is my naivety to fashion. Like I'm from the Midwest, and we're outfit people. So we're very much like, where's the pants to match the shirt, and then and so it's easy for me. But like from a stylist point of view, like I never really understood the stylist, because especially when it's just simple, like when you have somebody put on a dress. It's like, well, how do you really actually style a dress? Like, you know, it's like, you know, when you see people that just have a dress and then that's just it. She's like, so somebody got paid to just go pick you up a dress? Like, that just don't make sense to me. But then when I see somebody like you, that, like you said, that you layer and it's a jewelry and it's this and it's that, and you're styling and you're pulling all together, you see it all come to life.
Yeah, like it's all a conversation. When I work with clients, my goal is to, you know, really take a teaspoon of their mood, their vibe, their aura, what they stand for, and a tablespoon, my vibe, my aura, what I get from what they stand for, and make a concoction. You know what I'm saying? Like I always like to know what my client feels, what they want to feel like, you know what I'm saying, for this particular event. And then I take a look at what their everyday style is, or, you know, things that they've worn before, and just really figure out how I can really make something that's frameable. That's my goal. You know what I'm saying? Every time I work with somebody, it's like, all right, I want to make sure that this is frameable. Because everything is so insta and so instant right now. Once you're off the front page, that's it. But when people want to revisit your look or want to reference your look, that's how you know you've done your job.
What's your personal and your work style aesthetic? So like, what is your personal style aesthetic?
Like for myself?
For yourself.
My personal style aesthetic is athleisure mixed with street style. Like I'm all about comfort. Like I'm not a big suit guy. You know what I'm saying? I will wear it. I'll do it if I have to. But I'm not a suit guy. I love clean aesthetic. I love a clean aesthetic. I love hats. So if it's comfortable and it has an athleisure edge to it, I love sneakers. Yeah, I still have a real big urban appeal, if you will. Like that's my comfort zone.
And then what's your work aesthetic?
Oh, I'm all about the edge, drama. I want big. I want train. I want tool. I want anything frameable, memorable. I want all of that. That's my whole deal. Yep.
So you say so more is better for you.
Refined more is better for me. Like I'm all about it. Absolutely.
So now you're in LA, and when did you get your first celebrity client, or not even celebrity client? When did you get your first client? Was it in New York or in LA or in Atlanta?
My first client. Well, I'll say this. My first client that I worked with consistently was here in LA. Okay. And it was, they kind of came at the same time. It was Christina Milian and Tamar Braxton. Okay. So when
you get that call, and it's like, so we all remember that call. And it's like, hey, I want you to come work with me, or however it goes. How was that for you?
Man, like it was surreal, because these are people who I grew up, you know, listening to, watching, you know what I'm saying? So I never thought in a million years or in my lifetime that I would have a chance to know these people, like intimately know these people, like talk to these people, dress these people. Another thing, being a stylist is also a form of being a therapist, because we have to walk them through things, make them see things, make them see themselves, you know what I'm saying, make them feel themselves, because it's one thing to put clothes on a client, but it's also another thing for them to wear it. So I don't ever want to be, you know, responsible for something or visual that's not that the confidence doesn't ooze through. So
now you might need to go and trademark frameable, because everybody's want to steal frameable right now.
Listen, because it's real. It's real. It's so real. Like that's always my thought in mind. Like, all right, how could I make even the most simple look or the most simple vibe? Is like, how can I make this a thing? You know what I'm saying?
How much thought really goes into your process?
A lot, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm always, and as long as I've been doing this, and and I still have a long way to go. I always get nervous before a job, before a gig. I'm like, I tell my best friend, I tell my manager, I'm like, y'all, I be so nervous, because I always want to prevail, and I always want things to be like perfect. And I know it's not always that way, but the nerves lets me know that I'm still deeply rooted in the passion of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still like, as if when I first got the first phone call, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was new to LA. I didn't have any real relationships here. You know, it was very grassroots, and I didn't have, you know, anybody to intern under. I kind of just went into it. And so my thought process, even up to this day, is extremely, extremely detailed, because I like to cover everything from the crown to the sole, and I want to make sure that we have options for those things. That's another thing. We can't. I never go into a fit-in with 2 options. I know stylists who go with 3, and it's like, all right, that's what you're gonna get. You know, because of the realms I want to cover, and because I want to keep my frameable thing in place. I have to go in making sure that if this don't work, we got this, and this. You know what I'm saying? So that's my goal.
So you have what you want to do, but you have all the backups ready to go too.
Oh, absolutely. Bagged up. Sometimes I overpull for no reason. I get so much stuff. It just, like, the returns be more overwhelming than the actual fitting. So,
that's you coming in preparation.
Absolutely, because I don't ever want to be caught out there. Ever. I don't ever want to be caught out there.
In your world of fashion, have you had the experience where you're like, you have a client? This is a 2-part question. You have a client, and you like, okay, I got you. We're gonna kill this shit. We gonna do it. And you take them out to the run. You take them out. They do whatever they have to do, and you don't get the response that you were expecting. And then vice versa, where you're like, I mean, you ain't tell the client this, but you're like, I'm really not feeling this like that, but I mean, I got you something, so go. And then they get out there and they act like you just changed the whole world of fashion. You like, this? So have you had those moments?
I have. And sometimes it just works. It just works like that. Like, there have been times where I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is like, this shit gonna fucking knock niggas over the fucking head. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like crickets. But you know what? What matters is, in those moments, what matters for me is that if the camp I'm working with, if in the artists, if we all good, they content with it, then we good. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, damn, like, you know, my goal is to always showcase. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to notice it and feel good about it. And even if they don't feel good about it, it provokes a thought. It provokes some sort of, you know what I'm saying, otherworldly thought in their head that goes, Like, for instance, when I did Dej Loaf for the MTV Awards in 2018, you know, she has a tomboy athleisure, you know, her whole vibe is that. And we came across this crazy like 2-piece sweatsuit from this designer. I can't remember the country. They're not from the US, but they're from another country. And we did it. And this was around the time the Prada Flame sandals thing. We did that whole thing. Kellen hooked her up with this whole little tall
well, that's with the ponytail.
Yeah. And it was like one of those moments where I was like, man. And it was the MTV Awards, so it was built based off of the aesthetic. You know, MTV Awards is always kind of like, you know, whimsical and creative and out there. And so I was like, we should try this for this. And it worked. On a lot of platforms, it was like dope, bomb, best dressed, loved it. But then on some platforms, it was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be, you know, creatively ready to take those punches. You know what I'm saying? To really exercise your muscle to continue to have artistic confidence.
Now, so do you think that some stuff people are just not ready for? I mean,
yes. Well, you got to think. You say you from the Midwest, right? And that's y'all way of thinking. Well, when it comes to dressing, y'all way of thinking is, let me get that boot to match that purse. Let me get that jean to match that top. Let me get that top to match that hat. So those types of people who have a set way, they'll, you know what I'm saying? They'll always feel that way until they experience different. That's why I say it's a form of therapy, you know, being a stylist, because with some of my clients, I've had to show them and convince them that that's not the way. You know what I'm saying? So you have to experience different, you know, to get it. And if you don't, then you'll kind of forever be stuck in that rabbit hole of comfort because that's all you know. Because a lot of people have a lot of things in their closet that just sit there, and I come in and they'll be like, what you gonna do with that? And I hit the boom, 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 boom. And they like, wow, I never thought. So that's how it works for me.
I need you, when you're in Atlanta, I need you to come look at this closet because I have tons of shit that just sit there.
I can't, Derek, I would be scared because I know it.
I got so much stuff in that closet. But I'm very much, but I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna buy this, but I'm gonna wait till I get them matching pants. Like I gotta tell you, I'm an old lady, honey. I love outfit, honey. You know, I want to be like, ooh, you sharp. That's me.
See, Derek, I know you can hit niggas over the head though if you got out of that, because I know you got stuff you don't touch.
I do. I got so much shit in my closet. So yes, I do. I got so much stuff in that closet.
I'm supposed to be in Atlanta next week, and I'm gonna try to stay there for at least a week or so.
Yeah. So yeah, if you decide your time, just come on by. You just let me know.
Yeah. I got you.
So let's talk about that therapy part of it. Because like you said, because the thing about it is that from a hairstylist to a makeup artist to a wardrobe stylist, you know, we get that client that you have to build that confidence up for them. You have to, like you said, convince them and let them know that it's okay and, you know, all that good stuff. So what does that process look like for you with the client?
Well, for me, I like to feel things out because you never know. You know, in Hollywood, people have different temperaments and different things that trigger them. So I like to get in and actually become, you know, comfortable with them. Like I like to hang out with them outside of the clothing experience, so I can really, you know what I'm saying, pick up on things that set them off, or just see how they interact with other people, their family. Like, and that's a, you know, a pretty good thing I've been blessed to be able to do is develop actual relationships with people I work with. Like, it ain't never just oh, you bring the clothes, you leave. You know, like I ain't with all of that. Like, I like to feel you out. You know what I'm saying? I like to, and I just present that kind of energy with my clients because I don't ever want it to be a thing where that connection isn't there. And so I use that avenue to get my, to wiggle my way into their psyche to really see how they feel about clothes and how they see themselves. Because a lot of people, they lack confidence. But they have major platforms. They are major singers. You know what I'm saying? They are major athletes or whatever the case may be. And so in those intimate moments, when we in the dressing room or when we in their vanity room or in their huge walk-in closet, we have some stripped down moments on what it is or what does it stem from. And it may be, oh, I don't like, this side of my stomach, or I don't like, my left shoulder, or, it could be any small thing that we have to like talk through. And I have to let them know, well, look, I can do this, X, Y, and Z to make sure that that's covered and you secure, nothing will pop out, nothing will show that you don't want to show. Like it's that. I sometimes have to show them old imagery of women of their size or, of their stature or their build that have pulled it off. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that is extremely vital to really penetrate in people's minds to let them know that they can really knock some shit out the park. Mm-hmm. So I take that approach in a big edge that I have. Like I said, it's just really establishing a relationship with these people and not just a drop and go. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I ain't that's personal shopping to me. You pick it up, drop it off, or I can't do all that. I can't.
So, what I find with younger creatives is that younger creatives don't really take the time to know who's doing what. They don't take time to have mentors. Did you know the people before you, or do you have a mentor in the space, or people that you look up to in your space?
Well, yeah, I do. Well, it's like fashion and music. I have like Ethiopia. She's the president of Motown Records. She changed my life. She's the reason I'm in LA. She gave me a shot. She hired me as the creative director at Motown. And that's what brought me to LA. And then I have people like Jason Rimbert, who's extremely a great person in fashion. He's a stylist. He does hella people. Micah and Wayman, great mentors. One of my good friends, James Carroll, we do a live together. He's also a stylist. So I try to surround myself, and they're all Black men. So I try to surround myself with, you know, people that look like me, and that, you know, that reflect me, that have that energy and that have that attitude that really shows, that represents brotherhood and that will lift you up, even though y'all share the same space. You know what I'm saying? So I find it extremely important that I stay connected to those type of people, because they keep me going when I have my moments when I'm like, you know what I'm saying? My moments of doubt, because I do have it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still working on my confidence every day. But I have those people around to check me and to also be like, look, stay with it. So yeah, mentorship is so important.
Were you surprised by a person that noticed your work that you didn't think were looking? If I'm asking that question right.
No, I get it.
Yeah. When they be like, oh, you're icon. Like, you know, so like they, like, you know, have you had that moment?
That moment? Yeah, I did. Everybody knows I'm a big Beyonce fan. So I had a chance to work with Kelly Rowland a couple years ago she shot an ESPN commercial. And they reached out to me, you know, and I never expected it. I never saw it coming. And it went so easy. Like, they reached out one day, and then in the next 2 days, I was at our house fitting her. So it was like boom, boom, boom. Like it literally went like that. And that let me know then that, you know, I'm doing something right. And this was early on, Derek. This was like when I first got to LA. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it really inspired me. And then shortly after that is when I landed Christina and Tamar and Amber Riley. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. Like, even working with people who curvy girls, not curvy girls. Like Amber Riley, such a joy to work with. She's a beautiful curvy girl. Ethiopia, a beautiful curvy girl. Like, and they wear the same things that everybody else wears. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about manipulating those things to ensure that it fits the body properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, work with Ethiopia is like, she is a true, like, fashion girl, but she's also a plus girl. You know what I'm saying? She has a long neck. She's from Ethiopia. So she possesses all the traits that these beautiful, like, models have and stuff like that. And she just she really commits to style, and so that influences me. Like, it really makes me like eager and happy when someone who's not supposed to, you know what I'm saying, really go for it. And she's one of those people.
So, you know, on my lives, we like to also get to the real nitty gritty of things. We talk about all the glam stuff, but we also talk about the real. Okay. And when I say by the real, because a lot of people on here are stylists or trying to get to the industry, but I think that a lot of people always want to just show you the glitzy side of the industry. Yeah. But I do want to talk to you about being a freelance stylist, looking for not actually looking for the next gig, but working towards the next gig. Moving to LA you had the job at Motown, but just trying to establish yourself from a financial space, you know. So when you got to LA, when would you say, how long do you think it took you where you was able to say, okay, I can breathe? Let me just give you just a little rundown. So, because it's my story has been kind of choppy, but I want to lay it all out finally for everybody, just so that the statement, you have to support your dream until your dream supports you, makes sense. There you go. So when I lived in New York, I was interning at a fashion house, literally making $10 a day.
in New York City. And
How did you? How,
listen, this is all, and I was able to sustain for the most part because of, you know, certain friends that I had up there that believed in me, gave me a chance, you know what I'm saying? Like allowed me to sleep on their couch. You know, New York space is tight. So everybody don't have, you know, the means or the space to accommodate people. So I was literally couch surfing, floor surfing, you know what I'm saying? Like hotel room surfing, train surfing. I had to figure that shit out. But because I wanted it and I wanted to be there, I committed to it. So while I was interning at this showroom, at this fashion showroom, I was doing $10 a day. I was the only black person there, and I was the only male there. Didn't even think that they would hire me, but I guess based off of the passion that I presented when I went to interview, they gave me the shot. So I interned there for a couple of months, and this is when I had first moved to New York. Mind you, I'm from the South, never lived up north. I ain't had shit but my clothes. I didn't have no big jackets. This is wintertime. It was crazy. So I ended up working my way up to being just like, I guess, one of the top interns there. And the owner of the company one day came in, and she asked me to go to ride somewhere with her. And I'm like, okay, cool. Mind you, previous to this, I had never dealt with her. I only heard her name, and people always was like, you know, don't deal with her. It was pretty much like Miranda Priestley, don't look at her when she comes. You know what I'm saying? They had set up narrative like that. And of course, being me, I'm like, shit, all right, I ain't looking. You know what I'm saying? So she comes in, she grabs me. She's like, come with me. So we go downstairs. This damn car service waiting on us. We get in. So we riding. I'm quiet as a mouse because I don't know what to say to the lady because they built this whole narrative up of, you know, she cold, she powerful, don't say nothing. So she goes, I've heard a lot about you. And I'm like, really? And she was like, yeah. She said, I just want to thank you for, like, you know, making sure that my business stays up to par, because my job was to, first of all, it was called Albright Fashion Library, and they archived collections from designers that date all the way back to like the 70s, late 60s and stuff like that. So my job was to ensure that all the collections stayed, you know, presentable, stayed lined up, color coordinated. When stylists and editors would come in, I was responsible for showing them around, showing them where everything was, all that kind of shit. So when we get, we talking in the car, and she's, you know, thanking me and all this kind of stuff. So I'm feeling all happy and stuff. Like, yes. We get up to Fifth Avenue, and she then told me, like, all right, we're going to be making some stops at all of these flagship stores, which is like Chanel, Prada, Miu Miu, you know, all these big stores. And they're doing sample sales, and I brought you with me because you know the floor the best, and I want you to pick everything. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So my life, like, you know, this is my life at this point. Like, I never thought I would have a chance to do anything like this, like going to all of these amazing brands, and I choose what go into the showroom. This little black boy from Alabama choosing what's going to the showroom. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we going everywhere. Boom, boom, boom. I'm just like, this. We need this. Oh, such and such came and asked for this. When you have it, I think we should get that. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this. So we end up going to Bergdorf Goodman. And when I first moved to New York, you know, they're legendary for their window displays and all that kind of stuff. Like, I went up to the window displays and was just in awe. I was scared to touch the door handle. I didn't want them to profile me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm this big black nigga with a beard coming in. What you want? So when we go to Bergdorf, of course, we walking in through all of the back entrances because everyone knows who Irene is. That was her name, Irene. Everyone knows who Irene is. One of the workers there, like, stopped me and was like, where you, and Irene was like, no, he's with me. And they were like, oh, we're so sorry, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, don't you ever, like, she went off. So we going in, walking around, the lady who's walking us around to each floor, like, she's talking to me. She was like, yeah, I've never seen you before. She's usually with, you know, usually with a girl and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, this is my first time. I'm an intern. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been interning there for months, and she asked me to come with her today. And so she was like, all right, cool. So at the end of that when we were checking out and stuff, she handed me her card and was like, if you ever need anything, you know, just give me a call. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I take the card, put it in my pocket. Fast forward about 5 months later, I'm still interning.
But at $10 a day still.
Yeah. Then it gets cold there. It gets cold outside. Like, and you know, a New York winter is OD.
Yes.
So one day, it was just one of those days. It was raining. It had just snowed, but it had started raining. I was on break. I was sitting in the Starbucks across the street from the building I interned in. And I didn't know where I was going to sleep that night because my friend who I was staying with, she had left. They had left for the holidays. So I was like, man, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I don't know what's happening. And I just felt defeated. And so I picked up the phone and I texted my mom. I was like, Mom, I think I'm going to come home. I can't do this no more. And so when I put my phone down, I reached into my computer bag because I was packing up, and I found the lady's card from Neiman Marcus. And I was like, wow. I was like, I wonder if she still worked there, because it was months ago. Mm-hmm. And I emailed her and was like, hey, hope you're well. I just came across your card. Like, I want to talk to you because, I'm still interning and, things are getting tough financially. And I just want to know if you have any opportunities that could help me. She immediately emailed me back and was like, this is so crazy. I found myself thinking about you over the past few months. Please come and see me. I went to see her the next day. She hired me the next week. I went from $10 a day to $15 an hour. So I was able to rent me a room. Like, I was able to really get myself up. Started working at Bergdorf Goodman. That's how I met Ethiopia and Candace. Developed a relationship with them, and that's what ended up being in LA. So had I not toughed it out, you know what I'm saying? Like, had I not continued to support the dream until it supported me, I could have easily just got on a plane, got somebody to send me some money to get on it. My mama wanted me to come home anyway. You know how the southern people do it. They want you at home. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you out. If you could be at home, come home. So I could have easily took that plane ticket and went home. You know what I'm saying? So it's just in those moments, in those really, really deep moments of self-doubt and darkness is when you have to really, really, really find that light, because it's there. It's there. It could be as simple as a phone call. It could be as simple as a text, and somebody is gonna see you through. You know what I'm saying? But you really got to be committed to supporting the dream until it supports you.
Now, in that, so I'm gonna ask. This is a personal feeling question. In that time when you picked up that you saw the card, you went to the email. As Black people and being a Black man, it's like, we can be prideful. We don't want to ask for help. We want to act like we can do it ourselves. Did it take a lot out of you to even get to that point? Or were you just in the space enough where you like, I got to do what I got to do?
Yeah, I think at that moment I had swallowed my pride because I was already at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I was already sitting in a Starbucks cold as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing where I was gonna sleep that night. So I was like, what is pride? What's pride? You know what I'm saying? When you already at the bottom looking up. So if anything, that inspired that when I saw the card, I felt a little bit of hope. But then when I sent the email and she immediately responded, I was like, oh, it's a higher energy working in this thing right here. So I reverenced that. And it gave me an opportunity to stay in New York. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to leave. I felt like I had more to do, and I did have more to do, because had I left, I would have left that opportunity to even be here now. So I thank God for that all the time. Every time I think about it, and every chance I get to tell this story, I just, I thank God for, blessing me with that resilience in that moment, because I definitely clearly was ready to give up. I had already texted my mom, and so when my mama texted me back, I was like, just hold on for a second. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. I'm gonna see now what I can figure out. Something just came up, and I was able to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel good from a freelance standpoint when you're able, like I said, to take care of yourself off of your craft.
Oh man, it's so, and especially during a time like this
Mm-hmm.
when so many people have lost their jobs and lost their line of income, just being able to do regular everyday things and jobs. So
Mm-hmm.
when you are in a position to just kind of like, all right, we're not working, but I can just, I can resort to this and fall back on this cushion. Like it's amazing. It has its pros and cons, Derek. Don't get
Mm-hmm.
it twisted.
Oh, I know.
It has its pros and cons, but I am so grateful to God to literally get up and do what I love to do,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to live life and take care of myself and other people while doing it. I don't think it's a better thing in the world aside from being saved. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not. It's just a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
so you're doing your style thing. You got it
mm-hmm.
going, and you decide that, hey, I want to have a brand.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do something else, and you create Void merch.
Mm-hmm.
So was that a scary step for you, or was that just your natural progression?
Oh, Derek, it was scary, and it took me 2 years just to take my foot off the brake.
Mm-hmm.
I've said, okay, so the concept of Void came about because, like you stated earlier, like how you don't necessarily look like, and you don't necessarily, have the visual representation of someone who's in fashion. How do you do this? How do you look like this? How do you do that? So for me, I would get those questions all the time from people. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you're a bigger guy. So what do you do? How do you get this? What do you get this made?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh. And and also paired with that, it's like, you from the South. Like, how'd you get out of the South to live in the city, live in a big city, all that kind of stuff? And I was like, oh, I'm filling the void. You know what I'm saying? And so I broke that word down into an acronym, which means vibrant originals intercepting design. And that meant, people from the Midwest, people from the South, and people that aren't from these major cities, they breed greatness.
Mm-hmm.
They breed greatness simply because we're not exposed to the masses. We're not exposed to a lot of shit that goes down in these big cities. We see it on the TV, but we're not we can't touch it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to create a brand that represented all of those vibrant originals who come in and intercept the way that things are designed for them to supposedly be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from the South. I ain't supposed to be no fucking fashion stylist. You know what I'm saying? I'm if I'm not playing football, I'm supposed to be in law or doing something in something super streamlined and not creative. So that was my whole point of doing Void, because I wanted to create a space and a brand for people that come from those areas, and to let them know that you can do, if you're creative and you feel stifled and you feel like you can't get your hand on a pulse of creativity the way you want it to be. Like, start where you are, and then eventually your wings will outgrow that space. Like, I had to start where I was in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started where I was, and then I eventually bust out, and that's what you got to do. And so that's what Void represents. And I use the teddy bear because that's what people always call me. And the teddy bear is a universal symbol of comfort. No matter where you go, anywhere in the world, you bring a teddy bear, you hold a teddy bear, you give someone a teddy bear. That is a universal. It's comfort. And we've all experienced that growing up. I still got teddy bears now. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that came from.
So last but not least, what is
Mhm.
next? What's next for you?
Since I've been on lockdown, I have been, just doing a lot of coloring. I bought coloring books.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've been watching a lot of documentaries. I've been catching up on a lot of series. And I'm actually working on a screenplay for a mini series. And I started writing it with two of my best friends about 2 weeks ago. And I actually had no idea. I mean, I've always, been interested in like film and costume design and all that kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
learning how to write a film or a short is really, it's some next level shit. And so I've really dug my claws into it because the series is based off of our life in college in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So we're building it based off of that loosely, and we're going to include all the topics that need to be addressed within the Black community when it comes to credit, financial care. You know what I'm saying? How people look at the LGBT community in the Black community, and all of that, like mental and health awareness. So we experienced all of that shit while I was at Clark, and so and then being influenced by everything that's going on now, we putting it all into a series and we writing it out. So that's what's next for me. I've started investing money into it, so I'm like, I'm really gonna go hard for it to make it happen. So, and I also plan on releasing another capsule collection of Vogue, which will be geared towards the Black vote, because I think it's extremely important for our community to really keep a grasp on voting, and we got to flood the polls like we flooded the streets. So I'm really getting behind it. I've heard it so much. Our vote don't count. Our vote don't count. But we'll never know until we actually do it.
That's true.
So I want to really pressure that for my people, and especially my young people, and make that shit cool. You know what I'm saying? Like we've made protesting and marching cool. You know what I'm saying? And while it's cool, it's still been effective. And so that's how I want people to feel when it's time to vote, because that's where the change is gonna start. It's gotta start from the top. We fight from the bottom, but if we can wipe out that top, we'll blow clean through that bitch. And that's what I want people to understand when come November. I want everybody to get out there and vote and use their voice, and don't feel like your voice is not heard because of what you experienced in the past, because that's what we are rewriting right now.
And if you're in Georgia, you got till 7 o'clock. You got an hour. Take your ass to the voting polls today, because we voting today for the
Yep.
I did mine last week, thank goodness, because this line is long. But yes, take your ass out there and vote right now. So get off my line and go vote.
Absolutely, go and vote, guys. I've been advocating for it on my socials, on Twitter, on Instagram. Like, I really want my people to vote, and I really want my people to stop feeling like they vote don't count, because that's the mindset that this corrupt system has prevailed at when it comes to us, and we have to break through that. So yeah.
Well, I want to tell you thank you so much for this. I learned so much about you. I mean, I didn't know all of this.
Yes,
and I also enjoy you guys' lives when you and your partner get together. Y'all do y'all lives. I check in on yours too.
Oh, thank you. It happens every Thursday on In the Details. This Thursday, we are going to do a town hall format. So this Thursday, we are going to hear from the people. We want to talk. We want to exchange. We want to, you know what I'm saying, really engage and educate. I've been attending town hall meetings, and I've been going and picking up, like, I've been the freedom dropper, Derek. I've been picking up people, taking them to the protest, picking up people, going to town hall meetings. Like, I really want to educate myself on how to progress this movement and this Black agenda to improve our communities, our schools, our everything about us, even when this is not trendy anymore. Because right now it's trendy, but we have to condition ourselves and our minds to do everything every day to forward the Black agenda. You know what I'm saying? And so even I know for me, it'll be uncomfortable because I'm so used to dealing with dealing in a certain way and shopping at certain places, all for convenience. You know, it's all right there in our face. But now I'm really strapped in with only supporting what look like me. And if I don't get the right experience at that place, then there's somebody else. You know what I'm saying? That still looks like me. So I'm conditioning myself to do that, and that's why I'm continuing to have you know, these talks like this and having a town hall meeting that we plan to have on Thursday, because I want everybody around me to feel the same way, and that's how we'll bust through. When everybody is thinking the same way, you know what I'm saying? We'll bust through. When the frustration when the frustration leaks in, and we feel like we can't find this or we can't do that. Hey, pick up the phone, because you know somebody gonna know. But everybody got to be on the same accord to make it happen.
So if y'all not following Icon, make sure y'all follow him right now. And also Thursday we're gonna be listening to the town hall. Get that capsule collection out, because I support you, so I want to get another sweatshirt, because I love my sweatshirt. So yes, but I want to say thank you again so much for taking the time to talk to me, and let me know when you get to Atlanta.
I will. I think I still have your correct number. If it hasn't,
I'm about to DM to you right now.
DM it to me, and when I get there, I'll hit you, and we for sure will have a moment.
All right, thank you, Icon.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
No problem.
All right, bye.
So yes, you guys, it is Fashion People all week. And that was Icon that we just got finished talking to. So like I said, make sure you go follow him and support him and what he has going on. Tomorrow I have Faithe, who is a costume designer for television and film, and another one of my sisters from another mister. We have Ronaldo. I can never say Ronaldo's last name, but it's Ronaldo Nimini. I'm gonna get it right. He's gonna be here on Thursday, and then we have Jason Bolden that will be here on Friday. So it's all about fashion this week, okay, you guys? So thank you for chilling with me today and listening to our conversation, and I will see you guys tomorrow with Faithe.